All right, so we're back in the kitchen this morning with more from the author of District 6 Huis Kombuis, Tina Smith. And it's time for a bit of dessert on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And this morning, Marianne Abrams, well, she's a contributor to the cookbook. She shares a recipe for traditional Sago pudding, just like her mom used to make it. Ladies, lovely. Welcome back in the kitchen. Marianne, welcome to you as well. Let's talk about your, firstly, how do you say it? Is it Sago? Is it Sago pudding? Is it... What is the correct way?
Both terms, Sago or Sago.
Is it?
Usually Sago, van course is Afrikaans spreken.
Okay, ons gaan met Sago pudding, but we'll talk about Sago pudding. It sounds lovely as well. What is it about this recipe that's really rich in history for you?
It's very special because, you know, this was a traditional pudding that we normally used to have on a Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
Not when we have our meal, but afternoon tea. This used to be served at afternoon tea. And my great-grandmother made a special one, plus my mom. And so it was a very favorite.
Yeah.
And not just for our family, but the district. Everybody made a Sago pudding. Because it was inexpensive those days.
I see.
And the whole family could share from that one dish.
And it is a delicious...
And still have some over for the next day.
I like that. The leftovers are the best. You can start putting it together for us. Tina, I mean, this is great. I mean, this is the type of story...
This is the soaked
soaked Sago. Okay,
Sago that we just put into into the milk.
All right. Well, Tina, I was saying there's so many beautiful stories in this cookbook, like we mentioned earlier on. It's not just your average cookbook. How did you go about compiling all of these recipes and people to make up this cookbook?
Well, you see, there's a broad network at the District 6 Museum. Lots of the ex-residents come to the museum and they belong to what we have, a District 6 7 Steps Club.
Yes.
So they all belong to the District 6 7 Steps Club. So many of them that contributed to the book came from the 7 Steps Members Club.
I understand. So really you could get those recipes and out and compile it. What are some of the other main recipes, I mean, that you can quickly run through, I mean, what people can expect from the book?
I think, you know, we took a lot of the stories are about afval, about things that people, what we think about throwing away now, people ate in District 6. So we think about tripe, trotters. I mean, in a kind, we took it through a weekly menu, if you like.
Yes.
So on the Mondays, usually, people had fish or leftovers. And by Wednesday, people had breedies. And by Fridays, people got paid a little bit of money. And then the pans were screaming, and they could have chops.
Okay.
And perhaps go and buy fish and chips. You could go buy fish and chips. And then, of course, you go into the Saturday and Sunday, you have a fabulous Sunday lunch. And then you're back into Monday. You got no more money, you're back into leftovers, and so that cycle goes on.
It's a food journey, which I love. Okay, cool. So the Sago's in there, it's thickening up nicely.
Yeah.
And then what do we do with it?
And that gets added into your casserole dish.
Okay, so that's the finished one. We can just take this one off.
This gets added into, and then we mix our
egg whites.
Over it. First the egg white goes on top.
I'll just help me.
All right. Now, if you want to get your hands on the recipe, very easy. SMS the keyword pudding to 33728. That's pudding to 33728. And we'll send you all the things that you need to know to make this beautiful, traditional, rich in history, Sago or Sago pudding, like we call it. And then just dollop it with butter. And that you pop into the oven.
Yes.
I can see why it's such a brilliant dessert with, obviously with people loving to make it, because it really is so very simple. Now that keyword once again is pudding. SMS that to 33728. I mentioned earlier on as well that we have 2 copies of District 6 Huis Kombuis to give away. If you want to get your hands on one of those 2 copies, SMS the keyword fish to 33728, and you stand in line to win yourself one of those brilliant copies. Like I mentioned, it's a food journey. It's like a food journey. I love that. Ladies, thank you very much for coming through and just sharing some of your experiences and a part of your history with us this morning. Really appreciate it. And yeah, good luck with the rest of the cookbook, eh? I'm sure people's going to love it.
Oh, they're going to enjoy it so much.
Thank you very much for
inviting us.
inviting us.
Thank you, Marianne. There we go. One more time for the pudding is pudding to 33728.